Hi guys, meant to be doing a video today, but I've been talking to a guy all week on eBay about a bike, and he's been very hesitant to sell it to me, and he knows I'm the motorcycle rescuer anyway, but he's agreed for me to come now, so I'm going to be heading that way. The bike looks like it's in a bit of a state, so for once we'll see kind of journey from beginning to end. I've hired the van, I've got a ramp in the back, we're off to see this bike. So as part of the picking up a new bike thing, you have to stop off and get a drink, you know, grab something to eat, a bite to eat, and enjoy the occasion, and let the person know how far away you are. The sat nav says 20 minutes, I'm going to message them, say I'm 20 minutes away. So guys, there's the bike. That's a BMW f650 Fundoro. I just picked this up off Jamie, nice guy. I bugged him all week about this bike because I really wanted to save it, and actually I think that's all it is, just kind of polishing up and saving, and this kind of bike should be saved. So I love these bikes. They're big thumper, huge pistons, twin carb I think, and this should be a lovely project. I was explaining to Jamie that actually the profit from my channel always goes back into the biking community, so free services for people, helping people out, and sometimes giving bikes away like we saw a few days ago. So you know, work with me and my channel, it always helps people out, and we save these bikes. Now for the journey home. Okay, so here it is guys, we're back at the garage. Let's do a look over the bike, and let's do worst case scenarios as well as best. Front tyre has plenty tread, that seems fine, that's a good start. No obvious sign of leakage, but we haven't bounced them enough. Wheels are rolling and free, brakes will be shocking. Lots of corrosion all over the place. This green stuff is just garden algae stuff, that's fine. Chain has absolutely had it. That will not clean up. Me being me, I'm going to dump loads of WD on it just in case, but there's no way in hell that will clean up. Rear tyre has enough tread on it so far. Okay, it appears to select gear, but you know, I don't know. And I don't know from there. What's this? This is the fuel tap, so there's no fuel line, is that right? Is there any fuel in here? This is C solid, so I'll be getting some WD into there. So this is the kind of stuff we need to look at. Lots of people think this is very easy. You clean the carbs, you put some fuel in, you start it up. It's not. It's not. If you price this up correctly, at the worst possible situation, it can cost a bomb. Let's look at this. Let's imagine the engine's gone, it needs an engine rebuild. Bike's not worth it, it's finished. Let's say a gear's broken or the gearbox is broken, it's finished, the bike's over. Let's say it needs two tyres, 150, 200 quid. Let's say it needs a new chain and sprockets, which it does, it's another 100 quid, that's 300 quid. A brake cleaning, brake set and so on, it's another 50 quid. It all adds up. MOT 30 to 50 quid and so on. So it's all kind of there. So you have to think about that stuff. What this one has going for it is it's very low mileage, it's just under 20,000. It's got a fair amount of service history, and at this stage that is all it's got going for it. I'm going to start just kind of pulling it apart basically, making sure I drain the fuel tank. I'm going to get the WD out and give it a good WDing. Any bolt I think I might be looking at is going to get some WD on it to let that work through and seep through, and I'm going to try and, you know, anything I can get undone for now I'm going to get undone and start having a look at. So let me start kind of stripping this bike, and then we'll see where we go from there. So for now I've hammered the bike with WD. Anywhere that I might be looking at using earlier WD, including the whole chain. No point brushing that at this stage, let it soak in, that's fine. Don't worry about it on the brakes, don't worry about it on the wheels. We'll clean all that up later. Now I'm going to be getting the seat off somehow, kind of starting to strip it down a bit and seeing what we've got going on. So we're going to go from looking like a full bike to it being slightly stripped down in a minute. So the tank is completely empty, and that is great news. In fact, the carbs themselves could be empty, which would be excellent. It would mean I don't have to take everything off and give them a clean. Is it worth hooking up some power at this stage and throwing some fuel in? Potentially, if I can find where the fuel goes, where the in is. See, at the moment, look, these aren't capped off, so this wouldn't have been running well anyway, because the air would have been flowing. That's interesting. And yes, so I need to find the fuel line. These rubbers are rock solid. There's a big risk I take the rubbers off and they don't go back on, and that's going to cost a bomb. However, it does look like that might need to happen. So let me have a think about this. Otherwise, if I can find where the petrol tube goes, I may be able to just fill up these carbs and see. You never know. If this bike was drained clean using the engine before, when it ran out, then actually these carbs should be clean. So let me have a little bit more fettling and I'll come back to you. We'll see where we've got. So I'm trying to work out if this is the fuel in line at the top here. Now normally you'd have two. You'd have one for releasing pressure, but I have looked under here. I can't see an obvious, unless it's me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check on eBay, see if I can see a set of these carbs, and then that will tell me if there's one in pipe. I mean, this would kind of make sense. The fuel tap is here. This kind of makes sense. Let me have a little look and see. If it is at this stage, I can chuck some fuel in there and turn it over. Okay, so sorry about the noise. The Suzuki battery's getting a bit low, so I like to warm it up before I hook it up. The fuel, I found the fuel line for this. It's rock solid, it's stiff, so it needs to come off. It seems like such a pain taking this airbox off. It seems really difficult to get off, but we'll work it out if we have to at some stage. For now, I am going to put some fuel down and see if it sits in the carbs. I am going to hook up some power using that to see if we have any power at all. The lock set's all a bit loose and weird, but we'll sort that out at the right time. So for now, we're looking for, does it have any power at all? A, and B, does it turn over? Does it do the carbs hold any fuel at all? So let me tip some in and we'll see what happens there. First things first, let's see what happens if we put a touch of fuel in. So far, I think they ran this clean. I think they drained all the fuel before storing it. All you do is you get rid of the fuel, you switch the tank off, you drain the fuel, and then you run it dry. That keeps all the carbs and stuff clean. And the way this is kind of functioning at the moment, it seems like that's what's happened, but we won't know yet. not want to be blown up. Power? No. No, none at all. What have we done? That's right, that's right, that's right. Let's have a look. What are we missing? It's not happy. No. Nothing at all at the moment. Main fuse. These fuses look okay. Where might the main fuse be? Is there a second black wire that I'm missing? There could be. So obviously at the moment there's no power at all. What am I missing? What am I missing? Whoa. Okay, so what I should have done was check the power before putting fuel in. Let me have a good look over this and see what's going on. Okay, let's catch you up. So remember when we looked at a rear indicator recently that didn't work at all? I spritzed it with contact cleaner, we cleaned the terminals and we went back. That's exactly what I just did here. Every wire, they all do something. They were all crudded, they were all bad. Everything's been pulled out, brand new fuses put in and so on. And even then the switch is fidgety, so watch the lights, turn it all the way on, you get nothing. Play with it a touch back and forwards and it's gone again. I think I need more power on here. Let me switch on. And then if you play with the switch, you get that. But if you go too far, watch, it goes off. So this has a switch problem, which is not great. It's hard to get it where you need it. I mean, I can put a new switch on there ultimately, but for now, let's see if we've got compression or anything. Okay, there's compression there. Let me put you down. Let me flick the side stand switch up in case it has one. Top it up with fuel. It's actually got a choke, but it does not move. Another thing I need to look at some point. It kind of had some sort of kick there. Let's keep going just in case, but without the choke it's not going to be great. Okay, so we had something there. The reason I stopped it, a couple of reasons. We don't know if it has any oil in it. Secondly, check out the throttle. Look, give it a spin. There's nothing there. It's rock solid. So I need to get some WD down these lines and get that all kind of loosened up. So give me a couple of minutes. I'm going to try and get some WD down here, see if I can loosen it all up. Okay, so lots of work down here. The throttle is actually there. Let me show you it. It's here. Lots of WD-40, lots of kind of time, and you can see that we've got a working throttle. See that turning, and it's all loosened up. I'd say this bike was sitting longer. I think Jamie said 2 years. I wonder if it's sat before Jamie got it. For like the throttle to get that stiff, I've worked on bikes that have been sitting 8 and 9 years, and that stuff's normally okay, so I'd be surprised. There's bits and pieces I'm still unsure about, like these definitely need to be capped off, and they're not at this stage, so I don't know what's going on there, but I'd like to get it idling. I don't know how we check the oil on this bike. Is there a window or a dipstick? This is the oil. I wonder if this has a dipstick. It's not even spinning. Is it a pull? Again, I better get some WD on that. I'm going to see if I can check the oil level somehow, and then I'll come back again. We'll try and fire it up again. So that is an oil dipstick. I sprayed a bit of WD on it to get it off. It was very stiff. That stopped it snapping, but the oil is extremely low, so I'm going to top it up. It's not the only one that's low. I'm also low on oil. I doubt that's enough. Let me see if I've got any more. 4-stroke oil. Great. I better check this, I don't want to overdo it. I've never used this system before. All the threads are a bit weird as well, so it doesn't screw very easily. It's a right pain. So get the bike level, on tight, loosen up, check the level. I mean, there's not even any on the dipstick. I'd assume that this bike is leaking oil. We'll tell in the morning tomorrow. Let's try that. That's why you don't run the engine for long before checking stuff like the oil. It's really important. Yeah, it needs a fair amount more, but it's at the minimum. Let me put the rest of this in. So I'm out of oil, but we're above the minimum. Just double check. Yeah, perfect. Great. So I think let's fire this back up again and maybe see if it will idle. Throttle's much better. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if we can kind of play with it, get it idling. Let's see what it does. It's got some oil, it's got a little bit of fuel. Even though we know it needs kind of all taking off and looking at, it's doing something, which is great. Dodgy ignition. Ah, come on. Don't mess me around. I'm gonna have to fix you. Let's go again, we're close there. Oh, side stand just in case there's a switch. So Jamie and whoever owned the bike before you did the right thing by this bike. You obviously drained the carbs before leaving it sit, and my god, you've saved me hours and hours of messing around. From here, for everyone else, there's bits and pieces, oh sorry, my bad, that we need doing. Look at the split here in that rubber. It will never run perfectly. I've got a specific glue to sort that out, or we will obviously do that properly. I think I should take the airbox off, and I think all of this does need looking at and cleaning and clearing. It definitely needs a new brake hose. That definitely needs a new brake hose. Spark plugs will need cleaning. I mean, obviously it's working because it ran, but it just all needs kind of cleaning up. All of the wiring now needs cleaning with that stuff, as we saw it. I'm going to do a bit of that now, actually, before we get too dark. And then we need to think about ignition switch, because it's had it. This one's a goner. So, and I don't know, like, I guess I'll just get a new one. But that's fine. I don't know how much they are. I bet they cost a bomb. It's BMW. So for now, that's all good. It will need a coolant flush if there's any in there. I doubt there is. There's none in the reservoir, so I'll get some nice coolant for it as well. And next weekend, this bike should be able to kind of go for a spin, maybe. Maybe. But I'll have to look at everything now. So I need some fuel hose. I need to look at these intake manifolds, make sure they're sealed. I need to, ideally I need to pop the airbox off and check the filter and stuff. Top up the coolant, drain the old coolant. And then just start like cleaning up anything that might need it. If you see anything rusty, get some WD on it, because you're going to be cleaning it at some point. It's only helpful. And for now, I'm very pleased. We picked this bike up 2 hours ago, and it's running and riding at this stage, so I think that's brilliant. But it's not that easy. The bike needs probably chain and sprockets. I highly doubt that chain's going to clean up. Probably chain and sprockets. And then lots and lots of kind of working on electrics, cleaning up, full service, brand new oil filter. I said chain already. The tank's flushed, which is brilliant. That saves me so much time. The carbs just will need taking off, seating properly. All of this just needs looking at and sealing. And the spark plug leads, I may just order some new leads and do what I did on the big Kawasaki, just to make sure it's as new as possible. But for now, that's a good sign. It's a good sign. I like it. I like it. Okay, that's about it for today, guys. Yeah. Yes. I'm going to just spray up all these panels just to get some, just with cleaner, and just let it soak. I'm not going to be here till next Saturday, so if I can just get it kind of soaked up, that'll be fine. And then at some point I'll get the whole thing on the jet wash, and we'll look at the bits and pieces I've talked about. I haven't checked brakes or anything. They're going to need proper servicing. Yeah. And that's about it. This bike will be up and running in not that long. Great. As always, thanks for watching. If anyone has a project out there they need help with, and you can get the bike to London, spend a day with me in London, something like this, like we just did, and we'll try and get it fired up. We'll give it a carb clean, we'll do the best we can. I don't charge anyone a penny, so and it can be quite, it can be fun, and you learn a lot. Nat came down not long ago and did that, and now he's doing his own bikes. So anyone else is welcome to do that. Please subscribe, please share the videos. The more people that subscribe, the better, because if I ever get paid to have my channel, all of that money will be going back into the biking community, and that's a promise.